go.
So what's up, everybody? This is Joseph Fountain here. It's another edition of TakeOver Talk. And like any edition, we always have someone special on the line. And tonight I have a gentleman that I have a lot of respect for. I'm really excited because I consider him to be a brother. You know, it's someone that, you know, I personally take as family, you know, for real. And I got a chance to meet him about a year ago. I know he might talk about it a little bit, but when we met, it was almost like a beautiful relationship, you know, brother to brother. I had a chance to, you know, just to see him grow and make some dynamic changes and moves, you know, just not just in where we live, but just across the, you know, the United States. And I'm really excited about him because he's been a blessing to not just, you know, everyone else. He's been a blessing to me and my family also. And so I would like to introduce my brother, Mr. Elijah Morgano. Welcome to the call, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Financially free, Fountain. What's going on, brother?
Man, it is great to have you on this call, man. I know someone's going to get something from this, brother. I'm just super excited. You know, we've always talked about how, and we've worked together so many times. We've always talked about just being able to make an impact, you know, just wherever we are, and impacting people's lives so that they know that things can be better, you know. And so I'm just excited because I know whatever you share today, I know whatever you say today is going to bless somebody. So we just excited about having you on the call, man.
I greatly appreciate all the kind words, and I received them, brother. You did me tons and tons of justice, man. I hope we're recording this because I need that intro. I need that.
Right.
But in all honesty, man, change is beautiful, man. And like I said, it feels like me and you known each other for years and years and years. And
it does.
I look at my circles now, and that's who is everybody I've met within 6 or 7 months or within the past year are my closest people in my circles right now.
Awesome. And that's very pivotal, man. And so what I want you to do, you don't want to steal your thunder, but just give people a little bit of information about you, you know, where you're from and what you do for a living.
I appreciate that. First and foremost, I'm a man of God. I tell people that all the time. I'm a man of God, I'm a father, and I'm a husband. Those three first. And it wasn't always that way. Originally born in Jersey, raised by a single mom. My father, he was actually a big-time drug dealer, and he robbed banks in Jersey. He was actually in jail from the time I was 5 years old up until I was 27. I'm now 31. And I mean, that not having that male figure actually played a very pivotal role in regards to who I associated with, what habits I created, and like how I looked at authority. So a lot of those things as far as leading up to what I am now and what I do to earn money or earn assets or build assets is I'm a speaker. I'm a transformational speaker. That is my purpose, my passion, my mission to help people similar to my situations, but help all people through my story and my testimony, let them know that they can be whatever they want to be. So I'm a speaker, an author, a consultant. I train Fortune 500 companies now. I create products. I tell people all the time, man, the title that I love the most, if I have to use a title, is that I'm just a sharesman. I like sharing information, knowledge, opportunities with ideas. I share my own ideas with tons and tons of people because I get so many ideas on a daily basis. That's me in a nutshell, bro.
Awesome, definitely. You know, I appreciate that. And in hearing your story, something that a lot of times people, they may not understand, but, you know, given your past and you talk about what you do now, one of the things that I love about you and I noticed about you that a lot of people miss, one of the things they miss is this, you know, when change comes, a lot of times people, they expect change to come overnight, right? But something I noticed with you is when the change and things that you were doing, like from the time we met and the things you said you wanted to do that you're now doing, which is like awesome, you know, I noticed that what you would do is something a lot of people don't do, is you would take each day, and each day you allow those days to pretty much build the foundation to now, which has become, this grand cathedral in a sense. So in the sense of change, a lot of times what people do is they prepare to change and prepare to change for years and years and years. And in just a year, you've been able to do so much more than what most people are able to do in a 5 to 10 year period, just because when God gave it to you, or when the idea came to you, or it was time to make a move, you did it, and you went forward with it. So tell me a little bit, or tell the audience a little bit, just what it is about change, and what is your perception on change, and how to make those changes a little bit easier for, any individual in order just to succeed in what they may be looking to do in business, life, family, whatever it may be.
And I like I said, I received those words as well, man, because a lot of people think change is easy. It's not easy. It's just about wanting to make that choice, that decision, and having an association or relationship, having association and relationships. Like, I didn't have strong relationships. Like me and you've talked on plenty of occasions. Growing up in the hood, you have access to a pound of weed or a gun quicker than you have access to a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's way more valuable than several pounds of weed on any day. Understanding that, it can set you up for failure. Like you feel like you're not worth it. You feel like that you can't excel. But when you do establish a relationship, like I had to establish my relationship 3 years ago, because we fast forward, like having those associations where I can get access to illegal narcotics, it allowed me to kind of compensate. Like, I've always been a working person. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting up here like I used to be a thug. No, I just happen to grow up in bad neighborhoods and see drug dealers driving nice cars, see drug dealers having the girls, see drug dealers getting out, going to the corner stores with jewels and so like I paid attention to that. And like I think I had my first like official job when I was like maybe in 2nd or 3rd grade. I used to sell my Christmas toys and get candy, and then come and sell candy in school. And like I look back on those experiences. I always had business in me, but it's just I didn't have the right mentorships or the right association to kind of lead me in the right direction. So about 3 years ago, I was hustling, selling marijuana, and I got caught. It was my first time ever getting caught for narcotics. I was looking at 6 years in prison, sitting in Richmond City Jail, and this is the first time I ever prayed to God for anything. So I'm sitting in there, and I got 4 children at the time, and I have a girlfriend, and none of the people that I was hustling with was there to assist me. And so I was alone. And I'm sitting there with other youths, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and they arguing about Project Pat and Pastor Troy and Shorty Low. I'm like, yo, y'all know we sitting in jail? So, long story short, when I prayed, God turned 6 years to 6 days, and he turned a felony into a misdemeanor, and that was my wake-up call. That made me look back on everything in my life, and it allowed me to count my blessings. Once I realized how valuable, like, my life was, that God got me out of that situation, because I told you, my father spent tons of years in jail. I have a brother who's serving 7 years right now. I have several cousins who just got out after serving 5+ years. So it's nothing different from me. But like I said, that opened my eyes. It allowed me to realize how important my freedom was. So like seeing those 19, 20-year-olds in there, I'm 10 years they're older, they're senior, and like they didn't have a clue. Like, and I'm doing the same thing that they was doing. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to change. And I was like, I decided to give my life to the Lord. I went from playing video games and reading ESPN magazine and watching football all the time to actually picking up a book. Picking up a book and studying on, like, you can agree with me, right, bro? Like, you went to the library. We talk about this all the time. You went to the library and you taught yourself about investing. You taught yourself about business, correct?
Absolutely.
So understanding that, it's once you learn how to learn, bro. Like, I didn't know how to hustle, but when I got into it, I learned it. Like, I would ask the people I was buying from. And it's the same principles, but it's put on something legitimate, something that's solid, that's not set on sand. Like, I'm not a big fan of quoting scriptures. I'm not religious by far. I have a relationship with God, and I understand how amazing He made us. And so changing itself, I went through a complete transformation. My social media, that was my outlet to change. Like, I only knew about the people working paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know about millionaires. I didn't know about residual income. I didn't know about network marketing. I didn't know about an ebook. But I prayed and I asked for it, and I got led into that direction. So you said something earlier about following God. It's easy to follow God when God is leading you to right places. You call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it infinite I, Allah, whatever you want to call it, it's still only one creator. But you follow that, and you live life with integrity and love and peace and positivity. It leads you to some amazing things. Like my network went from 500 to well over 15,000 within this past year. And this is the thing. It's not like I'm telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because it's no different from me and whoever's listening. I'm sorry, that's my daughter in the background. She hear me talking and she's getting turned up. But that's why I share it. Because the people that, like, in all honesty, that I'm reading about, and even when reading the Bible, like, I look at the Bible and I see what Jesus and I see what the disciples and I see what the prophets did. I look at that as something that I can do. I look at it as something that is not obtainable. It's not so far or some esoteric thing that's all the way out, or I have to wait until I die to attain that ability. No, Jesus came back and said, we came here to show you that you can live life and live it abundantly, but you can do as I do and some. And that's what every literature that I look at, like you was just saying earlier, when I listen to music, when I watch movies, I'm looking for a message. And there's a message out there. Like, there's levels. Like, Jay-Z has money, but he doesn't have Warren Buffett money. And then the crazy thing about it, there's people above Warren Buffett. And the only thing different between them and me, honestly, I'm going to wrap it up right here. The only thing different between me and them is the fact that they have different habits. Like, I was used to creating habits of playing Madden on Fridays and going out to the club on Saturdays. They was creating habits of teaching themselves stocks and selling CDs outside to the people that went to the club. So when you create successful habits, you shift your paradigm. I know I'm using a huge word, but all it is it's a series of habits. Like, I read and I listen to music and I get up super early and I exercise and I talk about positivity, not because it's cool, because it's now my new habit. But yeah, that's my change, bro.
Man, that's awesome. You know, and one of the things that a lot of times people don't realize about change is with change, in order to change, you got to confront it. If you don't confront it, then you're not going to change. And a lot of times people miss that, and they want things to change without having to go through the pain or having to go through, what it takes to address whatever issues they may be facing within themselves or within a situation, whatever it may be. And so that's one of the things that I think is very powerful, what you were saying, and I heard you talking about basically you're living with a purpose. You know, you're living with a purpose instead of just, casually living and wondering what will happen throughout the day, but you're making a point to make sure that something does happen during the day. And just like, you're saying, your daughter, London, she's right there with you. And I hear a lot of times people have excuses about so many different reasons why they can't change. So just like you, like me, I grew up in a rough environment, and till this day, there's some people that we're the same age or they're even older where they make those excuses about why they can't change or I can't do, and they don't understand how much that holds them back, and that they can succeed no matter what they have that's going on currently. And that's something that if people just understood that as long as you live, you're always going to have something that you're going to have to deal with. So they just understood the simplicity of like what you're talking about making a habit and just doing something daily, and then basically transforming and almost like retraining your thinking of the way you used to think, and really getting rid of certain things out of your life that's not needed, that's actually hurting you more than it's helping you. Then things will work out a whole lot better for them. And so definitely appreciate that, on change and things like that. So
now, I wanted to touch base on something you said, man. When you said something in regards to people that focus on what they can't. Like, I do consulting. I consult small business owners, and this is the thing. Like I don't have a college degree. I went to the Army. I have a high school degree. I went to the Army, but most of the stuff that I'm making my finances on, I'm building my assets on, are stuff that I self-taught myself, that I actually enjoyed doing, and I wanted to learn about it. And I've learned more in the past 3 years than I did all my years of school, and I took some college while I was in the Army. And I'm talking about from business to networking and I'm talking about even life skills. We're interacting with my wife. Like most guys have a complex if their wife brings in more money than my wife makes good money. And like I said, before I got here, I didn't have a complex because I was focused on, I was distracted by growing. I was distracted by getting better. And now, it's a partnership. No one makes more than the other person. We're in agreement with each other. But I made that choice, bro. Confucius said, those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right. And I'm going to pause because I don't know if most people are going to get that. And I got it. I don't know. Confucius is an old philosopher. But Will Smith said it. And I was like, that was so profound. When you just said when you run into people and they talk about what they can't. And you hear, it's easy to talk about the negative. Like misery loves company, and most people complain all day. That's why it's hard to be around people that are positive. And those habits of complaining is subconsciously embedded. Like you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth or tying your shoes or even the way that you go back and forth to work. You take the same way every day because you created a subconscious habit. But yes, bro, that made me think of that, man.
No problem. No, you're absolutely right. One of the things for me personally in changing, I had to do a lot of, like he talked about, which we talked about, just in conversation about, go to the library, right? Sometimes people think it's about spending money. I've done, and I still to this day do a lot of things to grow, to learn, and even a lot of things in business that absolutely cost me $0. It cost me time, though, but the time put into it is very well spent. Not just for me, but then I get to pass it along to my kids and even get a chance to pass along to others, which is one of the great things about what we do, especially in the community, that we both do, and just traveling to do it, is we get a chance to share. One of the great things is you get to give to others, not just money, but whatever you have an abundance of. And if you have an abundance of knowledge, wealth, peace, love, joy, whatever it is, you get a chance to give and sow that into somebody else. And that's one of the most dynamic things about change for me is that once you change, you can then help somebody else change. It's hard to help someone else change if you don't make those changes. And so I notice a lot of times people that are on those paths of changing, because like your story, it's a story that you hear, but most cases they don't end well. Where the gentleman is he's hustling because he got to make a buck. He has 4 or 5 kids, and things normally don't work out. What would be some advice to people that are in that position that are looking to succeed? What would you advise them to do in order to start making those changes?
And that you hit on some very, very good points, man. Like I used to start some of my speeches by saying I'm a statistic, because if you look at those who have children out of wedlock, those who have children before they graduate high school, normally don't go on to accomplish much. The percentages drop drastically. And even those who grow up without a father in the household, and then even like getting caught and put into the system. Like, there is the system. It's there, but you have a choice whether or not to get caught in it or not. Because the thing is, if you want to get away from the hood spots, there's opportunities out there. There's people out there, but you have to change yourself in order to attract those people. And one of my favorite mentors, man, is Les Brown. And I may not have never met him face to face, but he has so much stuff on YouTube and so many books and just audios that you can listen where you learn from their experiences and their stories. He said that, oh man, he said so many things. I kind of got a brain fart on which one I was going with.
Well, that's cool.
He said, do not let anyone's opinion of you become your reality. Like, because we grew up in those environments and we fall into a stereotype or we hear it over and over again. When you start knowing yourself and you start sowing positive into yourself, and like you said something crucial, the sharing. Being able to share, even if you're struggling, share something, share a prayer, share a compliment, share a smile. Like, it's not always finances. Success is not another guy that I listen to, his name is Earl Nightingale. He said success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Like, you don't have to have millions of dollars to be successful. Like, you could be successful in your household. You have an amazing household. You're raising your children awesomely. Like, I've spent more time with my daughter, my youngest, who's 11 months, than I spent with all of my other 4 children in their first 2 or 3 years because I was working. Like, I was working 2 jobs and I was grinding at nighttime. So understanding that, like, if you're a house mom, you're chasing something. You're working towards something. If you're a student, you're working towards something. But you got to constantly be working towards something. You can't settle for anything because anything's going to come your way. So, like, initially, like you said, get yourself right and then seek people who are in places where you want to be.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely agree, man. I know one of the greatest things for me is what you're talking about, like just the exposure of seeking out the right information, right? So sometimes we've been misinformed growing up, right? Yep. You know, and then seeking out the right people, because sometimes your circle can bring you down. It's just like if you try to help someone come up, but they don't want help, they end up drowning you. So if you're in a circle of people that don't want change, and you do, and it's always like, you know, like conflict, you know, where you're trying to make changes, you might want to, you know, pay attention to your circle, because sometimes you can try to make a change and people can pull you back, especially like how we grew up. Like, just the initial steps of saying, you know, I want to be a better person. One, I want to be around, you know, and I want to be able to contribute to society differently than what is bestowed in front of me. And just being another dude on the street, another guy that's just hustling, whatever. But I want to be different. And when you start to make those changes, sometimes you have to expose yourself to a different environment, to where it's not normal for you, in order to get that exposure, so that you can start to even see yourself coming out. And I absolutely think that's powerful. So, but listen, we don't want to hold too much of your time, but what I want you to do is, you know, take a few moments. Feel free to do 2 things. Share with everyone some information that you believe will really help them as they aspire to be better, you know, as well as share also where they can find you on social media. Of course, you know, with this call, it will be on YouTube. I'll make sure the information, your website, will be in the description box as well. So feel free to share whatever information you think will be beneficial to everyone as they make endeavors to do better, to grow, whatever it is in business, life, whatever it may be. The call is all yours.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you said some powerful stuff, man. You should let me interview you one day on this show, man, because it's awesome. Like, iron sharpen iron. You was talking about one thing that stood out to me, man, and I told you I'm taking it up a notch with my speaking, my everything, even how I answer the phone calls, right? Like you either are infecting or affecting people. So when I call you and you answer the phone, I say, "What up, financially free fountain?" Like I'm speaking life into what you have going on. Like most people are going around looking at what's on the news and gossiping at the water cooler and all those things, and they're talking of so much this negative nastiness. And y'all heard me talk about several things over and over and over again in regards to conscious things and subconscious. But I'm going to be real right quick. If you are hanging with 6 broke people on a regular basis, 9 times out of 10, you're the 7th. If you are hanging, females, don't take this the wrong way. If you are hanging with several females 6 or more who are considered promiscuous, you're usually the 7th. But the great thing about it is it goes on with the good too. If you're hanging around 6 millionaires, 9 times out of 10 you'll be the 7th. If you're hanging around 6 intelligent, successful, powerful women, you're usually the 7th. So understanding that concept, remind yourself that. Just take a self-evaluation, because this is the thing. What's going to happen is when you start to change for the better, what's going to happen is what's inside of you is going to start shining out. Like I said, we are living in 3 separate realms on a regular basis. We are spiritual beings, we have an intellect, and we have a physical body. And the thing about it is we are usually soaking up the things of the people that are around us. So in order to make a change, you have to understand these key components. I'll try to say them as smoothly as possible, but this is the key ingredient, the secret sauce to everything. I say these with my clients when I sit down with them. I let them know, like, you have to change your habit. There's a book out there by Jeff Olson called The Slight Edge. Phenomenal. And it just talks about daily, consistent steps towards your goal. Knowing that you have a goal, being positive and productive, and taking daily actions towards it. But what I'm going to tell you about is one of my mentors from afar. I know that I'm going to meet him within the next 2 or 3 years because of everything that I've been reading, everything that I've been visualizing, everything that the habits that I've been doing. His name is Bob Proctor. He has been utilizing. He was on The Secret. He has been utilizing the law of attraction. He has been utilizing the connection to the universe, understanding your conscious and your subconscious for over 40 years. So, and this is the thing, when you want to learn something or specialize in a course or anything, you go to people who have experience. You don't have to go to school. Nothing against college. College is awesome. It's an experience. But after you got your 4-year degree or your 2-year degree, now you should have the experience to know how to educate yourself or seek mentorship or seek apprenticeship. And that's what I've done with Bob Proctor from afar. But he talks about and breaks down the conscious mind. The conscious mind is what we can see, touch, hear with our 5 senses. That's our conscious mind. And the conscious mind allows us to say yes or no to things. It allows us to accept or reject things. And understanding that, like, I don't waste time or energy arguing with people. I respect everybody's opinion, from religion to politics. I can have conversations with a Muslim or atheist. It doesn't matter, because I respect their point of view. And I can agree to not try to prove them right or prove them wrong. It's a waste of energy. So when you're hearing things that you don't believe in or that you feel goes against what you're trying to go, your morals or your integrity, you can reject those, and then you know how much time you can spend around those people. So with your subconscious mind or your emotional mind, is that mind, it can't tell the difference from reality or virtual reality, video game or dream or real life. It can't. But it doesn't have the ability to say no. It doesn't have the ability to say yes. It's just automatically does. Like I said, most people, when they put their shoes on, subconsciously they put their right shoe on before they put their left shoe. Or they put their right leg in their pants before they put their left leg. When you get a cut, depending on how you treat your temple or your body, subconsciously our body heals that cut. Like, you don't have to go in there and be like, "Cells, I need you to come together and scab up and then about 1 to 2 weeks, I need you to fall off. That's happening by our subconscious. I'm trying to get you a visual to understand that this subconscious is something that really happens. Because this is the thing. No matter what I tell anybody out there, if you don't believe this for yourself, it won't work. So, understanding the subconscious, you have to be aligned on those three intellects that I told you about. The spiritual, the intellectual, and the physical. Because first and foremost, we're spiritual beings living in a physical experience right now. So understanding your spiritual connections allows you to tap into your subconscious. Like most of the time when we talked about those habits, Joseph, those habits that we built up when we were younger, like I look at my daughter, my 10-month-old. She has habits as a 6 or 7-year-old. I mean, from the way she walks, the way she interacts, the way she talks to us, because she's been getting everything that I've been pouring into myself. The audio, she can't go away from it. And the thing about it, when you between the ages of 18 months and 5 years old, you remember Hooked on Phonics, right, Joseph?
Yeah, I remember that.
But Hooked on Phonics, the reason that they made so much money is because if you make your children listen to those cassette tapes, we saying how old we are by saying cassette tapes, because most of the people that you probably let hear this don't know what a cassette tape is. But they were told to read these books, look at these pictures, because whatever you put into your subconscious mind between that time frame was embedded. So our environment and the advice that we were getting and our belief system played a huge role in what is habitually embedded into us. But you pointed something out, like we can rewire, we can reprogram. Tony Robbins, Van Tariff, Les Brown, they all understand. Les Brown called it the reticular activating system in regards to the subconscious. They all understand that the brain and the mind is one of the most powerful creations ever given to us. More powerful than any 400K TV, more powerful than any computer, any supercomputer owned by IBM, Apple, whoever. And when you understand how to reprogram your brain, reprogram your habits, life becomes easy. And I know I threw a lot at y'all, but I'm going to give y'all this saying, and you can look it up on the internet. It says, watch your thoughts because they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character because it defines your destiny. And I remind myself that every time I try to backslide or even when I slip up, because I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I don't have a moment. Joseph, you hear me swear every now and then. And it's because I have habits. I grew up in a household. I didn't say this earlier in the call, but my mom, she conquered drugs. Like she was a heroin addict, a coke addict, conquered drugs. So, but I grew up in a not so stable household to the times 10. And then even, like I said, this message is for somebody. I don't share that most of the time when I speak. But it's about transparency and understanding now that I have the ability to change everything. Like I don't live in the hood. We live in nice neighborhoods. We have nice vehicles. It's not to brag. It's to say where your relationship with God comes into play and he can take you and teach you. Like I look at the Bible as a way of life. Like if I do these things, these are the good things that can happen to me. If I sow into others and I bless people, I'm bound to get some blessings. It's not that I'm expecting the blessings right back for them, but I'm bound to get them. And then it's key. It's crucial. You can think about it. You can bless people. But if you're not doing any action, that's the physical world. That's where the small steps come into place. If you're not doing any action, then none of that matters. You're a very intelligent computer that can't change anything. So I took up a lot of your time, but once again, I'm going to leave y'all with my acronym and then tell y'all some ways y'all can reach us. And also, just a quick side note, we went from having our first speaking engagement about a year ago to me, Joseph, and about 20 to 40 other speakers will be on a national speaking tour because we visioned it. Because we put action into work. And this speaking tour, we're not going on tour to make loads of money. We're going on tour to share our message. We have speakers from the UK. I'm in contact with guys from South Africa. And we have an 11-year-old speaker that speaks way better than I do. Like his mom trained him how to be a speaker, how on Black history, and his name happens to be Elijah as well. But it's amazing. Like when you don't. Oh, this is what I was going to say with Les Brown. He said, "You don't get what you want out of life. You get what you are." And when, like, I heard him say that so many times, but it didn't really resonate until the past 5 or 6 months. Because now who I am, like I said, money is nothing but paper. Like you said, Joseph, you gave your time. Time is the most valuable resource you'll ever have. So check out for the speaking tour. You can check my website at www.myfirstname.com. I'm sorry about that. My first name, Elijah, last name is Morgano.com. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at motivational_Morgano. You can go to my fan page for the tour at Newark Tours on Facebook, and then Elijah Morgano Speaks. This acronym that I'm going to leave with you is something that I live by, but it allows me to be where I am today. Like I said, I'm not bragging. I'm just sharing the steps of getting your spiritual and your intellect and your body to get on the right course. Positive attitude, thinking and envision where you want to be, surrounding and associating yourself with people who are going to teach and pour into your life. Pour back into others in action, daily action. So positive energy activates constant elevation as peace, and stay blessed.
Wow, man, I definitely appreciate that, brother. That's very powerful, and I'm so thankful that you shared that information. I know someone got something out of this, and that's the purpose of why we do these interviews and do these calls, because we want someone who may have been stuck or just want to find a way to find something or to get something that can help them get to the next level. And you definitely shared a lot of information that I know will bless someone, just like I know I enjoy listening to as well. So I definitely appreciate that, brother. We will have this video up very shortly. And so thanks, everyone, for getting on this call. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Motivational Morgano, Mr. Elijah himself. Guys, always remember this. You have two lives, the one you're living now and the one you dream about. Here's the catch. Both of them are reality. Whichever one you live, it's up to you. And here's the hint. You're living one now. So in order to get the other one, move forward and go catch your vision. Be blessed, everyone.